Oh, hello everybody. Danny Rufo coming to you from La Cucina Donato here. We're going Facebook Live. This is new for us, so anything could happen. Usually I tape these, but tonight we're going to go Facebook Live. I hope some people join in. Then we'll save it and we'll put it out for everybody to see a little bit after we're done. But we're going live tonight. Live cooking with Rufo. Gina is my camera girl tonight on my phone, getting away from my hands are tied with the computer sometimes. So this way I can move a little bit. We can see some things. So as I promised, we're having a nice Friday night seafood dinner. Making my homemade Italian crab cakes. I'm making some smelts, and I thought I'd talk you through real quick. Gina, why don't we show everybody what we got for ingredients? I like to prep everything a little early. We have the oil cooking, the oil's ready. So we got some lump Maryland crab cake, Maryland crab meat, back fin, which I've picked through to make sure there's no little hard little pieces, no little shell for my kids to get mad at, right? So this is from Maryland. I bought this morning at Sansone Seafood on 7th and Lincoln. Been there a long time. So this is nice, fresh Maryland crab meat. All right, I only buy Maryland crab meat. In the crab cakes tonight, we're going to do some breadcrumb. We're going to do, remember, these are Italian pancakes, so I'll tell you why they're Italian. You ready? So we got some breadcrumb. We got some Romano cheese. The Italian, that's part of why it's Italian. Ricotta and Italian creamy dressing. This is in place of a lot of the recipes call for mayonnaise and Dijon mustard. So instead of mayonnaise, we're going with the ricotta. This will create a nice, smooth, creamy consistency that I think you would appreciate. And instead of the Dijon, we're going for the creamy Italian. It's just salad dressing is what we're using. We're going to use that to help bind some stuff up. Let's go back down. I got some nice salt, pepper, a little bit of Old Bay. We're not going to go heavy on the Old Bay. We want an essence of Old Bay. But Old Bay is very strong. It's a strong spice. Too much Old Bay, you're not going to taste anything else. Fresh parsley, nice ground up fresh parsley. Some minced garlic. And then I diced up some beautiful bell pepper right here. And we'll do like this. I went with the yellow, orange, and red. Make it nice and pretty inside the crab cake. I diced up half an onion. Really nice and fine diced job. And that's about it for the crab. And Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce too. Kind of gives a little kick. So that's the Italian crab cake stuff. Over here, you'll see the smelts. Right, these are our Atlantic smelts. We talked about this Christmas Eve. My father used to love these, right? I went ahead and dressed them already, cut off the heads, sliced them down the middle. There's a little bone. For those of you that aren't familiar with smelts, there's a little bone, but it's a soft bone. We just kind of eat that. You know what I mean? So you can kind of pick through it, but it's a small little fish. And so, cut off the head. Some people cut off the tail. I like to hold the tail. All right, that way it helps you when you eat it. So we're going to fry these smelts tonight in a very simple coating. Flour, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder, right? So you can see it's got little specks. It's not just white flour. Very light coating, and then we're going to deep fry that. You can hear the fryer wheel getting started. So why don't we start with the crab cakes. You ready, G? Why don't you stand here? I'm going to be working right here. So I got, and I went with 2 containers of crab meat because I'm going to end up giving some of this to my mom. Any of my buddies might want some. So I went a little heavy on the crab meat, a little bit bigger than I would normally make. Start with a little bit of salt, right? I give maybe 10 or 12 shakes of salt. Crab meat, of course, is already cooked in Maryland, where they made it. All right, salt, a little bit of that Old Bay. Now, again, I'm not going heavy on the Old Bay. because Old Bay by itself has a taste. I want this to be a background flavor. All right, so a little bit of Old Bay on there, a little bit more, because I got a lot of meat in here. A little bit of Old Bay, a little bit of black pepper. All right, not too heavy on the black pepper. Again, I got real peppers over here I'm going to put in. So those are my spices. Then I go with a little fork. Minced garlic. We've had this conversation before. A lot of you like to use fresh garlic. That's what I go for. It's quick, it's easy. A little bit of minced garlic. Got to use the minced because, again, you're talking about, crab cake here. You don't want the garlic to kind of take over either. You want all these kind of subtle spices to live together happily in the crab cake. You know what I mean? You don't want any of them to be fighting with each other. So I got the crab meat, a little bit of the spices. Now I'll go for the Italian dressing, right? I guess so you can see. And of course the Italian dressing's got a little bit of spices in it too. It's got a little peppercorns, a little bit of roasted tomato, probably dried tomato. All right, so you put a little bit of this. This will help bind. The oil's begging to have something put in there. We're going to get to you in a second, oil. Don't worry. All right. A little bit of the Worcestershire sauce. Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Classic. Again, you don't want to go crazy. This is a heavy flavor. But you want to give it a nice little bit. You're making it nice and moist for a little while when you put the breadcrumb in. Again, this is one of the things that make an Italian crab cake. A little bit of grated cheese, right? And again, I'm not hand grating this. It's not what I'm about tonight, right? We want to have a nice meal. I want to sit down with everybody. So I use it's already ground up, right? Pecorino Romano, right there. And then the ricotta cheese. Now again, if you Google crab cake recipes, you're going to get, I would say 90% of them have mayonnaise. And I'm not against mayonnaise. I put mayonnaise on some things. The ricotta is going to give you that smoothness. Remember, ricotta doesn't have a taste by itself, really. It's fairly bland in the world of cheese, right? So this is almost more for the palate. It's almost more for that consistency. I got about a little bit more than a half cup, almost a cup, because again, I went heavy with the crab meat. Almost a cup of ricotta in here, and then breadcrumb, right? Gento breadcrumbs. Some people go with panko. I'm familiar with these. I like this. And again, the breadcrumb is also something that you kind of eyeball. I start off with a fairly decent amount. I'll leave this where I can reach it because you can stay there. I gotta get an egg. Because when I start to mix this, I might find that I need a little bit more. I don't want to go hunting for breadcrumb. Alright, you ready? You can stay there. We'll switch positions. Here's my fabulous one-hand egg. People love to see that for some reason. My one-hand egg. And you might go 3 eggs here. I'm going to start with 2. No, I'm going to go 3. Hold on. Aspetta. Get 3 eggs. Because I keep forgetting that I bought a little bit more crab meat than I would normally buy. Alright, so we got 3 eggs. Parsley. Some fresh parsley I bought. Throw that right in. Get all that in there. It's good for you. Peppers. See, we got quite a mix going on here. And then some onions. Boom. And that is all of your ingredients now. Put this in the sink so we're out of each other's way. Butter is for cooking, so we'll put the butter over here. Everything is mixed up. Why don't we switch again? I usually start mixing with one of these, but then you're going to go to the hand. When I made the meatballs, we talked a little bit about that. Eventually, you got to go to the hand. Otherwise, you're not going to get a feel. But I like to start the process with one of these. Kind of fold it over. Right now, when I was picking through the crab meat earlier, I was kind of using my fingers to grind it up while I was feeling for hard bits. So the crab meat is fairly mixed already. You don't have to go too crazy. The crab meat is you just got to mix it with everything else, but you don't have to break it up because I kind of already did that, you know? You all right, G? You getting hungry? Smells good, right? Tell everybody how it smells.
It smells very good.
Yeah, it's a good smell. All right, so I'm going around, I'm folding it into itself here like this. All right. You see, it's very creamy. You got the ricotta and that little bit of Italian dressing. I use a creamy Italian dressing. You don't have to, I suppose. You don't listen. You don't have to use anything. You can go with a traditional crab cake recipe. That'll never go wrong. But my buddy of mine in Baltimore turned me on to this one. And I always like to do something that has the word Italian in front of it. You know what I mean? So we folded everything over real nice. Go one more time around. And I'll go to the hand when I finish it. But we'll finish that in a second. Let that sit for a little bit. Here's the smelts. Right? Again, they've been dressed already. These are Atlantic smelts. Christmas time, this is a big deal. We used to call them Italian French fries. I'm just going to put in the flour and what I say, salt, pepper, and something else. Garlic powder. Right, I'm just going to put this in like this. Real simple. That's all. And then I'm just going to move them around. Get a nice coating. Where's my fork? Get a little fork here. Right, you just move them around a little bit. You make sure they all get covered nice and nice with this real basic flour coating. I saw some recipes on the internet. People use breadcrumb with this. One guy used Kellogg's cornflakes that he minced all up. And I mean, you know, you want to taste the fish. You don't necessarily want to taste Kellogg. But that sounded cool. I'm not against trying that sometime. But I went with something traditional. This is the way my mom and dad would have done it on Christmas Eve. If you go to my favorite Italian restaurant in Wilmington, Delaware, Attilio's, this is what they do too. Right? You gotta fool around. Sometimes simplicity is where you want to be, right? My bean. Alright, so the oil's been cooking. She's dying to have something put in there. Probably a little higher than I would have liked because it's been sitting. So we come over, get my tongs. There we go. And we'll drop a couple of these in there. I get my lid ready because these are gonna get on top of them so people can see. I put maybe 4, 5, 6 at once so they got some room to cook. Alright, you don't want to put them all in at once. It's going to give you trouble. And then with most fried foods, I do some paper towels. And when I take them out, I put them on some paper towels. While we're doing that, I'm going to come over and get my other frying pan ready. I forgot to mention, you want to show them the oven? I got some stuffed mushrooms with a traditional, I'll take them out a little bit. My friends at Sandstones did these. Stuffed mushroom cap with more of a traditional crab cake. So this is the one with the mayonnaise, the Dijon, nothing Italian about these. So we're going to have two types of crab cakes tonight. A traditional crab cake and then the Italian crab cake. So we put a little butter on here, put this on low. These smelts don't take too long, right? They cook pretty quick. Leave them in here, you'll see the ends are starting to get nice and brown. Go for another minute, maybe less than that. Meanwhile, back to the crab cakes. All right, I wanted to get one in there. So let me get one crab cake going for everybody. And then, so you can see what they look like. And then I can continue cooking for everybody over here and pay attention to what I'm doing. Put a crab cake, I do this right in the butter. Now, if you want to bake these, probably a little healthier option. Nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm doing with the ones over there, right? With the mushroom cap. So you can bake these. I went with pan fry in butter because I like that taste. All right, so we'll let them cook for a second. All right, turn up the heat. I turned it down a little bit. Turn up the heat. Kind of let them go for a little while on both sides. The smelts are done. All right, maybe I was probably a little bit off. Put the smelts on the paper towel. Let that access. And my oil had gotten a little hot, so I'm going to turn that down for the rest of them. Because I was going to put the oil on even before I started talking to you guys. All right, but it gives you an idea of how to quick fry some smelts with a real basic batter, not even a batter, just a coating. All right, everybody see them? That's the smelts. Alright, come back over here, get a spatula. Is anybody watching? Anybody? Hello! Did you see any names? I want to say hi to people.
Mike
Mike.
is watching. Diane was watching.
Hello, everybody. I can't see, but I thank you for checking me out. It's the first time I ever went live. Seems to be going okay, huh, G? Gina's my camera girl. And again, this is just butter. Listen, if you want to use Pam, either spray, that's maybe a little less calories. You want to bake it, nothing wrong with that. I'm going with this tonight. This is what I was in the mood for. A little butter in the frying pan. And again, just a little while on both sides. I should probably go a little longer, but I always feel like you guys are bored. Yeah, see, a little bit longer, they would have held together a little bit. But they will. They'll come together when the time is right. There you get under it. A little bit more, yeah, that one's no good. A little bit more breadcrumb probably too. And I'll give you another little secret that I didn't do tonight because I'm on camera. It's probably best to, after you make the mix, after you make the crab cakes, form them, make them, put them on a tray, put them in a refrigerator, in the freezer, let them set, to be honest with you. I went right from bowl to frying pan. It's probably going to cause me more trouble than it's worth, but I wanted to get something in the frying pan for you guys. The rest, I'll go ahead and set them in the fridge and we'll fool around before dinner and then I'll do the rest. So, that's it, right? That's the Italian crab cakes, Italian smelts. We got more shows coming on Delaware Italians. I got lots of stuff I'm planning as summer rolls on. So it's Friday night. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Everybody has a good time. And thank you for hanging out with me in my kitchen while we made some seafood for Friday night, all right? So, ciao everybody, buonasera, take it easy, and I'll see everybody real soon. All right, now Gina's going to shut her down.